Good morning, all, once again. This is the second lecture in which we are going to discuss about the symmetrical components of a power system analysis. Basically, in this, we are going to discuss what are the symmetrical components in detail, what are the positive sequence components, negative sequence components, and the zero sequence components. Apart from this, we will also discuss about the various methods to identify the symmetrical components, what is the alpha operator, and how it is being used to determine the positive, negative, and zero sequence components in the symmetrical components. Now, let's discuss them one by one. So, first of all, what are the symmetrical components? As you can see, as unbalanced systems may be transformed into a balanced system because we can only do the analysis, and it is very easily to do the analysis accurately on a balanced system only. So for an unbalanced system, it is very difficult to identify the parameters or the various analysis over an unbalanced system. So but with the use of symmetrical components, we can convert an unbalanced system into a balanced phase system. So there are three types of symmetrical components which have been introduced to create or to convert the unbalanced system into a balanced system. Now look at this. We are having a three sequence components, positive sequence components, negative sequence component, and the zero sequence components described in figure 7.1 in A, B, C, D respectively. Now we can see, look at this, look at this, look at this A figure, that this we are having a three-phase system VA, VB, and VC, and all are of different magnitudes. All the three phases are of different magnitudes. So this is an unbalanced system. Though it might be that they are differed with the phase sequence of 120 degree, but their magnitudes are different. So what is an unbalanced system? An unbalanced system is that system in which the magnitudes and the phase angles between the two consecutive phases are not equal to, not the magnitudes are not equal, and their phase angle is also not equal to 120 degree. But in a balanced system, all the magnitudes of the phases are equal, and also the phase sequence is of 120 degree. Now, these unbalanced phasors can be resolved into three sequence components, which are positive, negative, and zero sequence components. The positive sequence components are being defined with the 1 subscript of 1. The negative sequence component is defined with subscript 2, and zero sequence component is defined by subscript 3, 0. So this implies that the positive, negative, and zero sequence components of a phase A, denoted by VA1, VA2, VA0 respectively. So we can see that the VA1, VA2, and VA0 are being defined as the positive sequence component, negative sequence component, and zero sequence component for a VA phase. For a A phase, we are having it has been resolved into three portions: VA1, VA2, and VA0. Okay, so just not like that, voltage phasors, we can also resolve three unbalanced phasors into symmetrical components. Now, before we further discuss about the symmetrical component transformation, let us first define the alpha operator. So, what is an alpha operator? In the previous class also, we have seen the alpha operator is nothing. It's a value. It's an operator which is having a value 1 with an angle of 120-degree phase difference. That means e to the power j 120 degree, and in the rectangular form, it would be minus 0.5 plus j root 3 by 2. Now, it is very interesting point that this alpha operator is the only factor by which we can correlate the different symmetrical components, that is a positive, negative and zero sequence components for a particular phase with the another phase. So for example, there are few of the properties has been mentioned or relations are there, that is the A square is nothing but the complex conjugate of A. A cube is equal to 1 and A to the power 4 will again give me the same value, return me the same value, that is A. That is A is the alpha operator, A operator. Now, there is another one important property that 1 plus A square will give me the sum is equal to 0. It's obviously if I add 1 with A square, A and A square will be the complex conjugate basically. So minus 0.5 and minus 0.5 will give me positive, and these two will get equal to minus 1. These two will get cancelled out, hence we will get it equal to 0. Now, using the alpha operator, we can rewrite this complete equation as VB1 equal to alpha square VA1. I can write it like this. VB1 is equal to alpha square VA1 and VC1 is equal to alpha VA1. Now, we know that the alpha square is what? It's a complex conjugate. So, that means if I write it in the polar form, I can write it like this. That it will be 1 with an angle of minus 120 degree. Alpha conjugate is nothing but 1, the magnitude will be 1 with an angle of minus 120 degree. So the VB1 will be equal to alpha square VA1, VC1 is equal to alpha VA2. Now similarly, we can write the equations for the other phases as well, for the other symmetrical components, for the B phase and for the C phase. Now, for a B phase, the negative sequence, if I write out the negative sequence components for phase B and phase C, I can write it like this, that VB2 is equal to alpha VA2, VC2 is equal to alpha square VA2. Similarly, V0, VB0 and VC0. The zero sequence component for phase A, B and C all are equal. From the figure, we can see that all the phases VA0, VB0 and VC0 are in the same direction and are also having the same magnitude. So that's why we can say all the VB0, VA0 and VC0 are same. Whereas in the negative phase sequence, while I was writing the VB square, you know that in this equation it is written that VB2 is equal to alpha VA2. So VB2 is equal to alpha times of VA2. Now I multiply this VA2 with an operator which will rotate it towards the 120 degree phase difference, and which will bring it VA2 towards with the same angle at a VB2. So that means basically the alpha is rotating the phasor, keeping the magnitude constant same, but it will rotate this phasor VA2 towards the VB2. That's why it is written that VB2 is equal to alpha times of VA2. Similarly, if I want to write out the VC2, now I want to write down the VC2 component in terms of VA2. Now how many times I have to rotate this? 1 and 2. That means alpha into alpha. So alpha square. Okay, that's why. Now look at this over here. Alpha square VA2. I think this is clear to you now. Now VB1. Now again, if I write out the VB1, look at this again. VB1. If I want to write out the VB1 in terms of VA1, I have to rotate this in the positive direction, in the clockwise. This is the negative sequence. That's why we are moving in the negative, anti-clockwise. But this is a positive sequence, so we are moving in the positive side. So if I want to write out the VB1, it will be equal to the alpha times of VA1. And if I want to write out the VC1, then it will be equal to alpha into alpha, that is alpha square times of VA1. Look at this. Now, similarly, we can find out that VB1 is equal to alpha square V1. That is, VB1 is equal to alpha square V1. That is, I will rotate it twice. Alpha into alpha, this will give me a VA1. And if I write the VC1 is equal to alpha times of VA1. Is this clear? Now, look at this. VA, VB, VC are the three unbalanced phasors. Were the three unbalanced phasors. Look at this. VA, VB, and VC are the three unbalanced phasors which have been resolved into the three components, into the positive, into the zeros, positive and negative sequence components, VA0, VAB1, VA2. This, the sum of these three will give me the positive, will give me the phase A voltage, phase A quantity, phase A quantity. Similarly, the VB, the phase B is also been resolved into the three components VB0, VB1, VB2. When I substitute these values from these equations, I can rewrite these equations in terms of A symmetrical components of phase A only. Then I will be writing this as VB equal to VA0 plus alpha square VA1 plus alpha VA2. Similarly, I can rewrite this equation for the phase C. So, in the matrix form, if I rewrite these three equations 7.7, 7.8, and 7.9, I can rewrite that in the matrix form as VA, VB, VC, VA0, VA1, and VA2, and it would be 1, 1, 1. Now, from this, look at this. V is equal to 1, 1, 1. The arbitrary constant values are what? 1, 1, and 1 over here. Then 1 alpha square and alpha, 1 alpha square and alpha over here. Then 1 alpha and alpha square, 1 alpha and alpha square. Okay, so if I want to rewrite this equation 7.10 in terms of the positive, negative, and zero sequence components, then I have to rewrite these equations in this way. Okay. Now, when I take the inverse of it, here it is something is missing. It is the inverse of this matrix. I will be writing this inverse of this matrix, and the inverse of this matrix will be this one 1 upon 3, 1, 1, 1, 1 alpha, alpha square, 1 alpha square, alpha VA, VB, VC. Now, defining the vectors into the simpler one, that is VA 0, 1, 2 form, then it will be VA0, VA1 and VA2. I can rewrite this equation, complete equation into this form, where C is a symmetrical component transformation matrix. This is your symmetrical component transformation matrix. What is 1 upon 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, alpha, alpha square, 1, alpha square, alpha. This is your C is your symmetrical component transformation matrix. Look at this. Now, the original phasors can be again be redrawn from, if we are having the knowledge of the symmetrical components. If we are having the knowledge of symmetrical components, the original phasors can also be calculated by using this formula, that is VAB is equal to C inverse VA012. Finally, if we define a set of unbalanced current phasors as IABC and their symmetrical components as IA012, then I can rewrite this. I can write the equations for the current quantity as IA012 is equal to C IABC. Similarly, if we want the original phasor components, then only the inverse of this matrix has to be component matrix, transformation matrix has to be taken out. I think this is clear to you. Next is, let's take an example. Let's take an example. Let us consider we are having a set of balanced voltages given in per unit. Where VA is equal to 1.0, VB is equal to 1.0 angle 120 degree minus VC is equal to 1.0 angle 120 degree. You can see that the magnitude of these, all the phases are same, that is 1, and they are differ by phase angle of minus 120 degree and 120 degree with phase A respectively for phase B and C. Now, what does it imply? This implies that VB is equal to A square and VC is equal to A. I have substituted thus the values. VA is 1. So VB is what? Alpha square VA. And VC is equal to alpha VA. So if I write these equations and from this equation 7.7, this one which we have discussed, from this equation, if I write this equation in this form, in this equation, then I can write it that VA0 is equal to 1 by 3, 1 plus alpha square plus alpha. VA1 is equal to 1 by 3, 1 plus alpha square plus alpha cube, sorry. And VA2 is equal to 1 by 3, 1 plus alpha 4 plus alpha square. Now, what we conclude? We conclude that when we are having a balanced phase system, the zero sequence component and the negative sequence components are zero. They are absent. Only the positive sequence component are present. For a balanced phase system, I'm again repeating, for a balanced phase system, the zero sequence component and the negative sequence component are zero. They are absent. And only the positive sequence component is present. And that is equal to 1 for a balanced phase system. Now, when when we see the balanced system, the zero sequence are 0. That means your VA1 equal to VA, VB1 will be equal to VB, and VC1 is equal to VC. When I substitute these VA0, VA1, and V2 values in this equation number 7.7, 7.8, and 7.9, I will get this value. Similarly, let's take another example. Let us now consider a set of three unbalanced voltages. Now, in this, what we are having, that let's assume we are having the three unbalanced voltages which are already known to us. Okay, now VA0, VA1, and VA2, we have substituted that VA is equal to 1, VB is equal to 1.2 with an angle of 110 degree, and VC is equal to 0.9 with an angle of 120 degree. Now, you can see VA, VB, VC are having the different magnitudes as well as they doesn't differ by the angle 120 degree. So this is an unbalanced system. This is an unbalanced system. So this has to be resolved into the symmetrical components, and let's find out what will be the symmetrical components. When I substituted this value in this equation number 7.12, then in this equation number 7.12, I will be getting that VA0 will be equal to 0.125 with an angle of minus 68.16 degree. VB1 will be equal to 1.0296 with an angle of 116.13 degree, and VB2 will be equal to 0.0873 with an angle of 267.72 degrees. Similarly, VC1 and VC2 can also be calculated. Now, what's the important point? The important point is that all the symmetrical components are present. For an unbalanced system, all the symmetrical components are present. The positive sequence, negative sequence, and zero sequence components are present in this unbalanced system. For an unbalanced system. So, if I write out, if I want to calculate now, if we are having the knowledge of these three. Now, for example, if we are having the knowledge of these three, we are already having the values for the positive, negative, and zero sequence components for the different phases. For an unbalanced system, we can calculate easily the original phasors. We can easily calculate the original phasors, which is coming to be 1.2, 0.9 with an 110 and 120 degree, which is exactly being defined over here. I hope this is clear to you. Is that right? Now let's move further. The real and the reactive power. Now, the three-phase power in the originally unbalanced system is given by this equation 7.16, where PABC and plus J PABC and J QABC are the real and the reactive powers for a three-phase power, for a three-phase system. Now, which can be written into this form: VA into VA into IA star, IA conjugate, VB into IB conjugate, VC into IC conjugate, which can be written as VABC transposed into IABC conjugate, where I star is nothing but a complex conjugate of the vector I. Now, from 7.10 and 7.15, this is the 7.15 and 7.10 is this one, that is the voltages and the current equations. I can write it in the form of now. In the next section, we will be discussing about the sequence circuits for the loads. How the sequence circuits are being defined for the loads, for the transformers, for the generators, synchronous generators. So we will be discussing them one by one. So starting from the sequence circuits for the loads, consider this schematic diagram for a balanced star connected load. In this, you can see that a star connected load is when connected with the impedances, the phase impedances of ZY, which are balanced since they all are same. Zn is the impedance from line to the neutral, which is also called as ground impedance. So the load in each of the phase is denoted by Zy, and the voltage between the line to ground volt is been denoted by VA. The line to neutral voltage is been divided by the VA1, VAN, and the voltage between the neutral and the ground is been defined by the VN. So if we see that the IA, IB and IC, IA, IB, IC are summed at this neutral junction, and it will be equal to IN, the neutral current. So if I substitute the phase symmetrical components for these three values, for this IA, IB and IC, then we can see that it is equal to 3 IA naught. Therefore, there will be no any positive or negative sequence current flowing out of the neutral point. Only the zero sequence component of current will be flowing through the neutral point. The positive and the negative sequence current will be equal to 0. Now, if you talk about the voltages, then the neutral voltages will be given by 3Zn Ia naught. 3Zn Ia naught. If you talk about the Vn, it will be equal to In into Zn, where In is equal to 3 Ia naught. So it will be equal to Vn is equal to 3 Zn into Ia naught. Now, we know that the VA, the phase voltage, is equal to none other than the VAN plus the neutral voltage. So if I substitute the 7.23 in the 7.24 equation, we will be getting that the phase voltage is equal to VAN plus 3Zn Ia naught. Similarly, we can write these equations for the other two phases, that is for the phase B and the phase C. Now, when we rewrite these equations in the matrix form, I can write it them as shown in the figure, as shown in the equation number 7.25, which is equal to VN, VBN, VCN plus the sum of the neutral voltages which will be equal to the net impedance star impedance into the IA, IB, IC plus 3Zn into IA naught with the unity matrix. Now we are pre-multiplying both the sides with this matrix C, and we will see that we can calculate by multiplying both the sides with the matrix C. We can calculate the positive, negative, and zero sequence components for a phase, which is been defined by the 7.26. Now we will get it as VA0, VA1, and VA2 equal to net star connected impedance into the IA0, IA1, IA2 plus 3Zn into IA0. Now from this equation 7.27, look at this closely. We can observe that the positive and the negative sequence components are zero. The current for these components are zero. So that we can find out the positive sequence, negative sequence, and zero sequence voltages only depend on their respective sequence component currents. That is the sequence component equivalent circuit, which has been shown in the figure 7.3 down below A, B, C to you. We can see that the positive and the negative sequence components, these two A and B, the positive and the negative sequence component doesn't have any neutral impedance connected to it, and they both are same, the neutral current will only flow the positive sequence component for the phase current IA, for the current A, IA will be having the neutral current component also in it. So that's why this 3Zn component is extra added in series with this star impedance. So if the neutral is grounded directly, it is solidly grounded, then we know that the Zn, the ground impedance would be equal to 0. Then in that case, your Z0 will be equal to Zy. And other hand, if the neutral is kept floating, then obviously your Zn would be very infinite, which will be very high. Then there will be not any zero sequence circuits current flowing in the circuit at all. Since the impedance is infinite, the current would be very minimum. It would be very minimum. So it can be neglected, the current. That's why the current, we can say that it is assumed that the current will be equal to 0 in the zero sequence circuit if the impedance, the neutral impedance is infinite. It is kept floating. Now let us let us find out the sequence circuit for the delta connected load. In the delta connected load, consider this balanced star delta connected load. Now let's talk about the sequence circuit for a delta connected load. Now in the delta connected load, look at this figure 7.4. The net impedance is the Z delta is been connected in each of the phases. Whereas we can see that the phase voltages will be equal to VAB, VBC, and VCA will be equal to Z delta into ICA, then Z delta into IAB, and Z delta into IBC. So by adding all these three voltages, we will get it that Z delta is equal to IAB plus IBC plus ICA. Now if I calculate it, I will see that the VAB0 for a phase voltage, the AB phase voltage will be giving me the Z delta into IB naught. Now again, since VAB VBC plus VCA is equal to VA minus VB, VB minus VC, and VC minus VA, which will give me 0. So from this equation 7.31, I can say that IAB naught will also be equal to 0. Since this is equal to 0, this is IAB not equal to 0. Now hence the delta connected load is the no mutual coupling has not only zero sequence circulating current. Note that the positive and negative sequence components for this load will be equal to Z delta. Now let's see the sequence circuits for a synchronous generator. An equivalent circuit for a synchronous generator with a grounded neutral is given to you. In this, we can see that neutral point is grounded through a reactor with an impedance of Zn. The neutral current is given by In is equal to Ia plus Ib plus Ic. We can see, and each of the generator is generating EAN, EBN, and ECN as a back EMFs of the per phase voltages. Now, if I calculate it, then I can see the sequence circuits for a synchronous generator. Now, let's discuss about the sequence circuits for the synchronous generator. In this, it has been in this figure, it has been given a balanced synchronous generator with a grounded neutral with the impedance of Zn. The neutral current is been given by In is equal to Ia plus Ib plus Ic, and hence it is equal to the In. Now, when we derive the do the derivation of the section 1.3, we assume that the operation which implies the Ia plus Ib plus Ic is equal to 0. Then, according to the equation number 7.32, this assumption is not valid anymore now. In this case, therefore, with respect to this figure, we can write the phase voltages as Van is equal to R plus j omega Ls. We have written this R plus j omega Ls for phase A. Look at this for phase A. R plus j omega Ls plus the mutual effect of the two windings as well. So it is here written that R plus j omega Ls plus Ia plus j omega Ms is a mutual inductance between the phase B and C and EAN plus EAN, the voltage generated by the back EMF generated by this phase A. Similarly, it can be resolved into this equation as 7.33, and expressions for the other neutral voltages can be written as VAN, VBN, VCN is equal to minus R plus j omega Ls plus Ms, Ia, Ib, Ic plus j omega Ms 111 this in this form. We have written this nothing but the different neutral voltages, phase to neutral voltages of the different phases into the matrix form. Now, when we multiply this matrix, both the sides by matrix C, then we will be getting as this equation 7.35. Now, we know that the synchronous generator is operated to supply the one balanced voltages. So, we can assume that the EMF EAN naught, EAN2 and are equal to 0. That is a 0, and the negative sequence components generated back EMF generated EMF will be equal to 0. Only the positive sequence impedance, positive sequence voltage EAN1 will be existing. So therefore, if we modify the equation number 7.35, we will be getting it as VA0, VA1, VA2 is equal to minus of R plus j omega Ls plus Ms into IA0, IA1, IA2 plus j omega Ms3 into matrix IA0, IA1, IA2 plus only the positive sequence component will be existing in this. So we can separate the terms in the 7.36 with the VAN0, VAN1 and VAN2. So we can find out that VAN is equal to minus ZG0 into IA0, where ZG0 is your impedance, this impedance, zero sequence impedance. And VAN will be equal to AN minus Z1 into IA1 and VAN2 equal to minus Z2 into I2. Now from these 7.37, 38 and 39, we can clearly see that only the positive sequence impedance will be having the EAN component in it, and the other two will be having the zero components. So furthermore, we have seen that a star connected load VA1 equal to VAN1, VA2 is equal to VAN2. Since the neutral current does not affect these voltages, that's why they are equal to VAN1 equal to VA2. Now, VA naught will be equal to minus ZZ naught plus 3ZN into IA naught, which is equal to Z naught into IA naught, when the V neutral voltage has been given there. So these sequence circuits for the synchronous generator are being shown to you, in which the positive, negative, and zero sequences networks are being shown to you. Sequence circuits are shown to you. We can see only the positive sequence component will be having a back EMF, and other two will not be having any of the EMF generated or the voltage generated EMFs. So therefore, the positive, negative, and zero sequence components are almost similar, but the difference is that the impedances are quite different. The negative sequence impedance is Z2, and the zero sequence component is Z0, is a sum of Z1 and 3ZN. Now let's do some MCQs. Now in this, look at this question number 1 and 2. A single line to ground fault occur on a three-phase isolated neutral system with the line to neutral voltage of V kilovolts. The potentials of the healthy phase rises to a value equals to. That means if a single line to ground fault, that is an LG fault, occur on a three-phase isolated neutral system, then how the potentials of the healthy phases will be equal to? It will be equal to root 3 volts. It will be equal to root 3 volts. We have seen that how we have calculated. For a three-phase system, when we are converting it into the neutral voltages, then it gives me the solution this one. Now, second question: if all the sequence voltages at the fault point in the power system are equal, then the fault is a. We know that the fault sequence voltages, the fault in point are equal. Then the fault is what type of? It is a double line to ground fault. We will discuss this again in the unsymmetrical faults as well. Now, zero sequence current of the generator of a line to ground fault is 0 J 2.4 per unit. Then the current through the neutral during the fault would be calculated. Calculate it, and I am giving you 2 minutes for this. Calculate the solution. It's very easy. The option is J 7.2 per unit. How it is coming? The line to ground fault current is the zero sequence current is given for an LG fault, and a neutral fault during the current has been given has been asked. Now obviously it is 3 times of it. It is 3 times the IA naught. So the IA naught is given, the fault current is been asked, then fault current will be equal to 3 IA naught. That means when we multiply the 24 into 3, it will be giving you the 7.2 per unit. Now the severity of the line to ground fault and the three-phase fault as a terminal of an unloaded synchronous generator is to be assumed if the terminal voltage is 1 per unit and Z1, Z2 are 0.1 per unit and Z0 is 0.02 per unit, 0.5 per unit for the alternator, then the required inductive reactance for the neutral grounding is to be calculated. A three-phase fault or symmetrical fault is occurred. The line to ground and a three-phase fault at the terminals of an unloaded synchronous generator. It is important. So if the terminal voltage is given, Vt is given to you, Z1, Z2 and Z0 are given to you, then how you will be calculated? It will be nothing but Vt upon Z1 plus Z2 plus Z0. Okay, so Vt is given how much? 1 per unit upon Z1 plus Z2 plus Z0. It will be giving me 0.0166 per unit. Now the most frequently occurring fault in the power system is what? It is the line to ground fault. Why? In the distribution systems only the maximum fault are occurring. The transmissions are mostly protected, the generators are mostly protected, but the disturbances and the anomalies are coming only in the distribution systems. That's why the line to ground faults are more prominent in the frequency of occurrence. Now, which type of fault of the three phase components IA0, IA1 and IA2 are equal to IA0? That is, IA0, IA1 and IA2 are equal. That means they are in series. In which of the systems they are in series? They are in line to ground fault. Now, when the line to ground fault occurs, the current is in a faulted phase is 100 ampere. The fault current is given 100 ampere. The zero sequence current in this case would be, it will be double line to ground fault. Now, in which type of fault the positive sequence and negative sequence voltages are equal? That is, the VA1 and VA2 are equal. They are equal in the double line to ground fault because they are connected in parallel. The positive and negative sequence components are connected in sequence circuits are connected in parallel and double line to ground faults. That's why their voltages are also equal. The fault analysis in power system symmetrical components are used because they give a sequence network do not have mutual couplings. And the last question, choose the correct one among the from the statement given. There is a minimum sequence voltage and maximum negative sequence voltages at the fault point. No, it is not right. Why? It is saying that there is a minimum sequence voltage and maximum negative sequence voltages at a fault point. You cannot say that a negative sequence voltages are always the maximum. No. Second thing is that C, look at option C, zero sequence and negative sequence voltages are minimum at a fault point and increases towards the neutral. No, it is also wrong. It doesn't increases towards the neutral. And the none of the not, the option left is out, is option B, that is a zero and the negative sequence voltages are maximum at fault point towards the normal, neutral. Thank you so much.